evening. Welcome back to Finnerty. Glad you're here. I'm Rob Finnerty, and it is finally happening. Joe Biden lets in millions and millions of people from the third world, and they move to blue cities all across the country. And now all of those cities are changing slowly into third world cities themselves. And it's been happening for the last several years, subtly, so subtly that you might not even realize that it's going on. In New York City and cities all over the country, we now have bike lanes on the streets and city bikes set up all over different cities. Bike lanes taking up lanes that were meant for cars and trucks. This is going to be great, Democrats told us for years. Bikes that people will use to bike to work and then bike to play and then bike from their apartment to get a coffee and then to the office and then they'll go home. It'll cut down on traffic and it's good for the environment. That's what they told us. But of course, none of that ever happened. And what is happening in New York City is the exact opposite, actually. Bike lanes in New York have been co-opted by illegal immigrants, many of them not here legally, and they ride all over the city in any direction they want, with no regard for traffic signals or traffic lights, delivering food, delivering drugs, delivering whatever they can fit on their bike day and night. In fact, on most streets, just to cross to the other side of the street, you have to pass by multiple bike lanes, lanes that were meant for cars and trucks, just to get to the other side of the street like this. This was today here in New York City. So just to cross the street, bike lane right here, parking, 3 lanes of traffic for cars and trucks and anything else in New York City, and then another bus lane, which bikes go down, and then more parking. Before Democrats, this was all for cars and trucks. Now it's for everything else. You think that might have something to do with the congestion? By the way, I had the light, and it was dangerous, and that's middle of the day. Okay, this is going to be fun, Democrats told us. It's not fun. And parts of New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Boston, now look like downtown Mogadishu. They now look like third world cities. Maybe you've seen them in movies, in documentaries. You know what I'm talking about. Rickshaws all over the place, vendors in the streets, disorder, crime, violence. New York City, literally right outside where I am sitting right now, looks more like Mogadishu or Bangladesh than it does the most important city in the world. It looks more like this. That was Dhaka, the largest city in Bangladesh and one of the largest Muslim cities in the world. And that is everyday life right there in the third world. And if you've been to New York City recently, you know what I'm talking about. OK, you have seen it with your own eyes. But this is all being done by design. Zohran Mamdani is the city's first ever Muslim mayor. And Zohran grew up in Uganda, which is in Africa. He even did an internship in the Ugandan capital city of Kampala in 2007. And here's an example of what the streets in downtown Kampala look like today. So that is the capital of Uganda, and that is the most important city in that country. Have a look. And if you think that cannot happen here, come to New York City because it is already happening. Just this week, Zohran Mamdani proposed lowering the speed limit across one of the largest geographical cities in the country to just 20 miles an hour. In some areas, it's going to be even lower, 15 miles an hour. And if you're asking why any mayor would want to do something like that, he is doing it to speed up New York City's descent into the third world. And he's doing it to turn New York City into something more like what he grew up with in Uganda. If cars and trucks are going slower, out-of-control bikers, who the police do nothing about, won't get killed as often, which happens on an almost daily basis in New York City, and I'm serious. 20 miles an hour, like it's the turn of the century in New York again when cars were competing with horses. And we asked some of these bikers who were out there today about where they were from. None of them were Midtown office workers out for a coffee. They were almost all immigrants from third world countries.
Where are you from?
Guatemala.
West Africa.
Where are you from?
Mexico.
I'm from Guatemala.
I'm from Africa.
Senegal.
Where are you from?
Oh, de Guatemala.
I'm from Africa.
Guatemala.
West Africa.
West Africa. And do you primarily use your bike for deliveries?
Yes.
Guatemala.
In addition to those bike lanes, bus lanes have also been added throughout the city. Bus lanes that usually don't have a bus in them because they're being used by the bikers. This will ease traffic, Democrats told us. Buses are fun. Mayor Mandami even said buses are going to be free.
How are you getting that money, the $700 million to make the buses free, into the MCA if she's not for raising taxes?
You know, I think that the two clearest ways to raise that money is through the raising of the state's corporate tax to match
But she
that
said
of
no.
New Jersey. The most important fact is that we fund it, not the question of how we do it, but that we do it.
It's not fun. It wasn't a good idea, and those buses are definitely not free, and they are not any safer. And now, in addition to the bike lanes, all major streets in New York City have a designated bus lane, meaning in certain parts of the city, like the most important parts of New York City, downtown and midtown Manhattan, 3 lanes of any given street are devoted to bikers and buses and chaos and danger. And as a result of that, traffic has not gotten better. It's gotten worse because the roads have been taken over by bikes and electric bikes and buses and delivery drivers, most of them immigrants, many of them new arrivals, who are making themselves at home in cities across America by making America look more like wherever they came from. Whatever third world country they came from, you just heard for yourself. Uganda, Mogadishu, Bangladesh. I'm not kidding. But the Democrats in charge of these cities can't seem to figure out why traffic is still so bad. In New York, enter congestion pricing, meaning it now costs $9 just to drive into and out of New York City every day. In fact, the traffic is so bad, the streets are so crowded and so dangerous that Zohran Mandami is trying to limit the number of cars coming into the biggest city in America. $9 just to enter New York City. And again, this is all being done intentionally, with the goal of transforming New York City and other major cities into third world cities, Muslim majority third world cities. But this alleged Muslim takeover, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's subtle. It happens slowly over time. In 2001, in New York City, there were between 80 and 100 mosques throughout all 5 boroughs. Now there are more than 400, with more opening every single year. New York City now has more Muslims than Jews. Think about that. And then you start to see scenes like this.
Eid Mubarak to everyone here. Salam alaikum.
Allahu Akbar.
Well, we just said there are more than 400 mosques in New York City. Why do Muslims need to pray in public parks and in the streets and stop traffic and inconvenience everyone else? You don't see Christians taking over streets on Christmas morning, do you? On Easter, is the egg hunt happening in the highway? I don't think so. Why is this okay? Why? There are other signs, too, some even more subtle. Did you know that prayer rugs are now being sold at the 9/11 Memorial in Lower Manhattan? And then there's this, members of the sanitation department in New York City being forced subtly into submission.
Family to all our city agencies. I mean, that happens.
What is happening? And then you see the mayor of New York City eating on the floor in City Hall in New York City, just blocks from Ground Zero. And we're all supposed to think that this is not only normal, but wonderful. This is such progress. We should be celebrating this progress.
For a moment, where you're asking yourself how you can reconnect to.
Have another look at the capital city in Uganda. And this might all be fine for Uganda. I don't live there. I don't care about Uganda. But this is what a third world city looks like. Does that look familiar? This should be a warning. It is already happening. And New York City now has a mayor trying to turn the city he runs into the city that he ran from. With a wife who's not only racist, but she's also homophobic and anti-Semitic and all of that at the same time. We know it because she posts this stuff on social media, and the liberal media do not care. They do not report on that. So the message is clear. It is crystal clear. This is acceptable. Things are definitely changing, and there is nothing you can do about it. So enjoy our city. Drive carefully, look both ways, and then make sure you look both ways again, because a motorized bike might be going the wrong way down a one-way at night. And just so you know, this is our city now. And that is the reality in major cities all across this country. And when we come back, absolutely.